Hello everybody, I'm actually switching off of Wi-Fi here. I'll be right back. And there we go. Alright, Wi-Fi's off. We won't have any signal interruption issues since we are outside today. I am wearing my Channel Islands National Park t-shirt today. Keeping the trend going. We'll see how long I can keep that going before I forget what else do I have. So welcome, episode 10. We've been doing this for 2.5 months straight now. So episode anniversary number 10 today on The Real Deal with yours truly, Dan Smith. We're going to be covering some fun stuff today. It's kind of going to be a conglomeration of the last couple of weeks, maybe the last 10 weeks. I did a big mastermind this past Monday. I had about 20 of my top agents who work with me in a room. We were locked down from a little bit after 8 in the morning to almost 5 in the afternoon. We did a working lunch in between. We all shared ideas. We all shared what's working. We all shared struggle that's going on. We all shared ideas of how to overcome disruption. We all shared ideas of innovation that we've been having success with or been hearing about. Fantastic day. And so I want to go over that. Where am I, John? I am right now at this exact moment. I am in Mission Viejo in a city park. I decided it would be more fun to be in a park today than being indoors like it was the last couple of days. It's not too hot outside. I found a nice shady spot, so I'm outside. A lot more fun. Interestingly enough, everybody, my views tend to be somewhere between double and triple when I film outside or on a location rather than in a room, in a boardroom or in an office. So if you look at the views from past ones, it's very interesting how people will be more engaged when I'm outside than when I'm inside. Very interesting. So, going to have a little conglomeration of all those things that have happened. As you guys come on, do me a favor, go down to that little button and click the share button. Helps if you do that in the beginning, get people sharing and participating in this live a little bit earlier than later. So I would appreciate that. And then keep the comments and keep the questions coming and flowing and rolling as we go on here today, because Facebook Live is about interaction. If I wanted to just sit up here and talk to y'all for an hour, or half an hour as the case may be, we'd probably do a webinar, and you'd all be muted, and you could just watch. This is Facebook Live. This is not a webinar, and this is about interaction, okay? So, you know what I just thought of, though? I'm not sure if you can hear me real well. Ta-da! That a little bit better. Curious. If somebody can comment if the sound got better or worse, I would appreciate knowing, because I've never done it without a headset. And so you just got a few little seconds of no headsetedness. I'm curious if one sounds significantly better than the other. Please let me know. All right, so it's the same. Interesting to know. Thank you, Pablo. Okay, so for everybody who attended Monday's Mastermind, I would like for you right now, start typing, and type the number one thing that you learned. What was your big aha that you got out of it? All right, and then for everybody who did not attend the Mastermind, so for the rest of Facebook land, people who weren't part of the 20, who did not attend the Mastermind, I'd like you to think about something real quick and then type real fast. Again, interaction, guys and gals. I'd like you to type, I wish I was at the Mastermind because I would have liked to talk about this. So we're going to hear what everyone's big aha was, and we're also going to hear what you would like to talk about at future Masterminds. And I think that would be really cool because tells me what you want to know, might give me some ideas for the jump start. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a second Mastermind and it'll be open to the general public. Not really sure. So here they come. The questions are coming. I'm going to start reading and then we'll start handling them. What was the best technology you talked about? And what should we all check out? Okay, that's a great question. I'm going to, before I answer that, maybe some of the ahas from people who were there will chime in and give us some of the ideas of what they thought that the show is supposed to start. So I'm going to save that for just a second, Bobby, while everybody else puts in their comments. But guys and gals, check this out. Question for you. Have you ever participated in a mastermind? Lucas, if you're doing business the same way in 5 years, you'll be out of business, was your big aha. Okay, great. If you're doing business the same way, that is going to be an issue. If you've never participated in a mastermind, what it is, it's a fancy, cool-sounding word for a group of people, like-minded, wanting to make progress, wanting to learn from each other, wanting to share, not holding their cards close to their vest, sharing everything that works for them, not being afraid that someone's going to steal your idea, being completely open, sharing the successes, the failures, what works, what doesn't work, what you're confused about, with a group of like-minded individuals, and you sit around and you brainstorm. And sometimes these brainstorms will be an hour, and sometimes they'll be 3 hours. I just got done doing a full day. Like, we were there for 8 to 9 hours. So if you have never masterminded, I would suggest you get involved somehow in a mastermind. Make your own. Find out about another one that's going on. And they're very important. They're very, very important. All right, so far only 2 people have talked, so I'm waiting to hear if anybody else is going to chime in. But in the meantime, let me answer your question, Bobby. I'm going to do Lucas's first and then yours, because maybe somebody will answer that, Bobby. Lucas, if you're doing business the same way in 5 years, you'll be out of business. We spent a lot of time on this because technology and disruption are changing so many things in real estate today. We have the Uber agent apps being tested in some states where basically, you know, a consumer can just be standing in front of a house and on his phone, his or her phone, just like on Uber, see where the agents who are part of the program are around the house and who's only 1 to 4 to 5 minutes out. And you can hit that one and that agent will be there to show you that home. That is being tested, everybody. This is not like sci-fi anymore. That is actually a system that's being tested in Colorado right now. We talked about things like Open Door and Redfin. We talked about things like Zillow, right? And so we talked a lot about technology that was out there and possible disruption in the industry and how to pivot, right? And that's the trick, how to pivot. Imagine, this is an example I gave. Imagine that you're playing like dodgeball. You know how kids play dodgeball with those red balls? You know, those squishy big red balls, and they just wing them at each other up against the wall or whatever? Well, imagine you're playing dodgeball, but you are just sitting or standing where the person over there is getting ready to throw at you, and they just take off and wind up like Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, and they just throw that ball as hard as they can, and you see it coming, just like you can see the market changing. You see that ball coming, just like you can tell things are happening in the market, changes are happening, and all you do is watch it come. You don't change with it. You don't change with the market. You don't make any moves. You just watch that ball come, and it smacks you right in the head. Just bam! Lays you out, knocks you over. All right? Imagine that as the analogy. Well, let me get off of this bench here so I can do this and not kill myself. Now imagine that someone over there is throwing the ball. The market is getting ready to move, and the ball starts flying at you, and Clayton Kershaw winds up and throws the red ball at you, and the market is moving, and you see it moving, and instead of just standing there and watching it smash you in the face and knock you out of the market, by the way, what you can do is you can pivot, right? Like in basketball or sports. You can pivot, you can move. You see it coming, and you can duck, you can bob, you can weave, you can pivot. That's what we spend a lot of time talking about, how to pivot, how to move when these things happen, because they're going to happen. You can't just put your head in the sand and hope they don't happen and hope you're retired before they happen. They're happening now. And so we've got to start pivoting with the market now. Bob says, I don't know, there's so much I didn't know. His big aha was, wow, there's so much stuff out there that I don't know. All right, so please keep those comments coming in, everybody, about what you got out of the mastermind if you participated, and please click the share button if you haven't right now already. All right, so now, Bobby, to answer your question, since no one's given the aha as, bro, sit still. Can't help it. I'm moving. I was pivoting. And I'm on a selfie stick. I can't just hold it, because if I do, it just like leans. And I got to lean with it. Is it getting you dizzy, Papa? Like Matrix. All right, so let's see, what were we talking about? Oh, technology. So the coolest pieces of technology that were talked about at the event, all right, would be the benefits to using Zillow's Premier Agent or the cost of it compared to other things. That was a big topic of conversation. How much it costs per lead compared to other sources, and how much better were their leads. All right, and some of those other sources being, and it wasn't determined which was better, by the way. There was no answer in that. There are no hard and fast answers in this business. It's like practicing medicine. You're practicing real estate. You've got to experiment, because different markets and have different results and different costs. You know, Zillow especially. One market will cost a lot more than another market, depending on. So, a couple of the companies. Zurple, like purple, but Zurple, a behavioral analysis lead management drip system company. That was one. Prime seller leads. Getting seller leads instead of buyer leads, which is a little bit of a unique feature. All right, prime seller leads, Zirple. I'm trying to come up with technologies that you all don't know about. We talked about intricacies of Zillow, intricacies of Realtor.com. We talked about offers, right? The system offers. We talked about the Smart Zip. All right, the seller Smart Zip campaign. All the young people use Instagram and old people use Facebook. Is there really a benefit to using these? I feel like calling and knocking and now marketing is the only way to generate good leads. I'm in the old group, by the way. So everybody has Facebook, by the way. That's a misconception. I know you said young people. It is a younger crop of people on Instagram, but it's slowly getting older. People are figuring it out, but everybody, 50, 60, 70, they're using Facebook. I literally, when I left the house today to come out and do this, my parents are visiting, and my mom and my dad, both in their 80s, were on Facebook watching, like, videos. Not the stupid cat videos, but still stupid videos. Everyone's using Facebook. And so there is other ways other than calling and knocking. Marketing is very important. And marketing on Facebook is a technique that you need to probably learn. We did talk a lot about Facebook, intrusion marketing. Those are some of the topics. Other technologies, Bobby, let me give you some brand names. Other technologies that we talked about. We talked about RedX and their Storm Dialer. Not the expired system and the FSBO system that everybody talks about, but they do have a Geo Leads, which is a phone number finding source, which is probably the best phone number finding source as far as quality of phone numbers that I've ever seen. They really get the numbers right. It's called Geo Leads. And then they have a dialer, for those of you who use dialers, called Storm Dialer. And it is, I believe, now the best dialer on the market. It's a little bit more, maybe $10, $20 more than some other dialers. But dialers have lag. Sometimes there's a lag. People know that you're lagging, or there's a lag to pick it up, and then, of course, they're always hanging up on you. Storm Dialer's real time. There's no lag, and they're the only company, the only dialer out there that's doing it. And to not have a lag and to not get hung up on all those times, man, how valuable is that? That's got to be worth $20, right? Especially a month, $1 a day for days that you're calling. I mean, just one hang-up could make the system for like 10 years, 20 years. So, talked about Storm Dialer. What else did we talk about? Talked about Lion Desk. Talked about the CRM Lion Desk and how powerful it was because of the video component that they give you with text and email messaging. We actually talked about 40 different things. Each person who came to the Mastermind was supposed to bring 2 pieces of tech that they researched, either that they're using or that they're not using, but they researched and then present it to the group. So we had 40 pieces of tech there that we shared. There's a lot of technology, a lot of innovation. People were just like, whoa, I didn't even know that existed, wow, kind of thing, right? And so we shared a lot. There's a couple name brands for you. If I had to choose one. Wrong button. If I had to choose one, I would say Zirple. Probably had people the most intrigued. Prime seller leads from a buyer and a behavioral analysis component. Prime seller leads from a seller lead component. Lion Desk from a CRM technology lead follow-up component. And those would probably be 3 of the top items that were discussed and really absorbed by people throughout this. But there were tons. We talked about open house apps that were fantastic. We talked about property websites that were fantastic. We talked about systems like BombBomb, just all kinds of stuff. So that answers your question. So I'm gonna go into Pablo real quick. I'd like everybody else. Hey, if you were there, only one person said, I would have liked to known this if I was there. So if I were to do another one and you were to be invited, what's the thing you would like to talk about? Please go down and type that right now. And remember, share if you haven't already. Did you say that Lion Desk and Prime Seller Leads, you broke up? Yes. Lion Desk, Prime Seller Leads, and Zirple probably seem to be the 3 things that were talked about and that got people excited about the most, I would say. All right, so Pablo, everybody out there has a plan. and you said it seems like door knocking and calling and marketing are the ways to do it now. How many people are really on Facebook and Instagram? And so here's the thing. I don't believe you're going to sell a lot of houses by posting funny cat videos on Instagram. You're also not going to sell a lot of houses by posting just listed pictures or videos on Facebook. But it is a marketing component to it. And understanding Facebook advertising and budgeting and boosted posts versus sponsored ads and being able to drop the pin and identify your audience and budgeting for a fraction of any other budget that's out there, that's probably something you need to consider. And we talked a lot about that. And so being involved in that sort of marketing campaign, I think, is vital, because when you think of marketing traditionally, you think bus benches, newspapers, and mailers. And marketing is changing. And that's why if you're continuing to do business 5 years from now, like you're doing today, I think there's a good chance you'll be out of business. We've got to get smarter with marketing. And if you don't have the time, you guys, and if you don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge, or you're an old fogey, then you know what? You better have a 5-year retirement plan, because it's the way it's going. There's no fighting it. One of my older clients, she's been in the business for 32 years, and I met with her just yesterday. 32 years she's been selling real estate, and she was at this mastermind, and she said the same thing as Bob said. There's so much out there that I don't know. I've really got to change. And she says, and I don't understand it, and I don't get it, and it's new to me. But I have to make a commitment to learn it, and I've got to learn it every day. And you know what? I'm really good at my scripts and my skills and my presentations and my objection handlers and all those things. Instead of role-playing every day for 20 minutes, instead of practicing my skills every day for 20 minutes, I think I'm going to spend 20 or 30 minutes every day learning technology, becoming more versed in technology, getting better at it. And it's not going to be an overnight answer. It is going to be a process. But if you add together a half an hour a day, 5 days a week, 2.5 hours a week, 40 weeks out of the year, that still gives you 12 weeks off, by the way. It's a lot. 40 weeks out of the year, that's 100 hours of learning technology, bit by bit, step by step, inch by inch. And I think if you do that, in 1 year, you will know 10 times infinity. Literally, for some of you. I heard some of you. I know some of you. It would be infinity more than you know about technology now. And it's not a direction that we love. For some of you, you should be embracing this, because a lot of you don't like calling. A lot of you don't like knocking. A lot of you don't like doing anything that's like that, that's outreach. Technology will enable you to get some results without doing as much of that. Now, you can't replace that. There is no replacement for communicating with people vocally, audibly, physically. On the phones, at the doors, at open houses, at events, meeting them, rubbing shoulders, belly to belly, face to face. That'll never go away. That is a skill that will always be in style. But it needs a supplement now. It needs some help and assistance now. You can't just rely on it. It's not efficient enough, and it doesn't do enough. You can't be in front of them enough. You need some marketing, some efficiency, some other ways to reach out to them as well as those things. But the good news is you don't have to do as many of those things, as much of those things. See, when I was selling, I was on the phones, or I was talking to people, rubbing shoulders, belly to belly, face to face, for 7 to 8 hours a day sometimes, 5 to 6 days a week, because that's what it took to do the volume of business, to stay in front of them. Now, no one really has done the volume of business I did, because no one was willing to do it as much as I did. But now, for the first time in really history, you have the ability to stay in front of people as often, if not more often than I did, by doing a fraction, 8 to 10 to 12% of the face-to-face, belly-to-belly stuff that I had to do. Okay, did you say, oh yeah, yes. So, if you are afraid of it, you shouldn't be. Real estate, I said this, real estate has never been easier than it is today. It has also never been harder than it is today. Lucas said it does not create enough presence or value. It doesn't create enough presence or enough value. It creates some presence and some value, but then it's tough to stay top of mind because there's so many things happening in today's world. We need those add-ons. Okay, now,
Real estate has never been easier than it has been today, and it's never been harder than it has been today. Because you can advertise and promote yourself cheaper than you've ever been able to because of digital technology. Okay, it sounds like I got a lawnmower or something coming up on me, so I am going to, sorry Pablo, but I'm about to cruise and get a little away from that buzzing sound. I'm going to come over here like at least maybe 100 feet or something. So, it's never been easier because it's never been cheaper to stay in front of people. It's never been easier to be able to market to those people. You can do it for pennies on the dollar of what it used to take. It takes you about 1/10 of a cent to get into somebody's living room on a Wednesday night on Facebook, where it takes you 50 some odd cents by the time you pay for printing, design, postage, maybe 60 to 70 cents. Stop! Sorry, I gotta, there's a lawnmower over there, dude. I gotta move. Pennies on the dollar. 1/10 of a cent or something as opposed to 70 cents. That's like 1/700th of the price to get in their living room on a Wednesday night via a postcard that got thrown right away, or to be seen on their couch, right? While they're flipping through their feeds. It's so much easier to print. We used to have to go to local print shops and just get robbed because they could charge us what they wanted because they're the only game in town. Now we got companies that got print out there who are printing things so inexpensively and then shipping it to us. And so things that got print, it's never been cheaper to design or print. They give you templates, the design fees go down, the cost of printing goes down. So it's never been easier than now because of all these technological advances, not just through computers, but through even computerized printing to get a presence. It's never been harder because there's never been so much competition and because you've been forced to work outside of your comfort zone so much. See, if you have to go outside of your comfort zone to have success and you just want to keep doing it the same old way, then you're going to struggle. It is going to be difficult, right? We've got to do things differently. And if we can just start doing them differently, learn what it takes, master that skill, then it's going to be super easy. That's when it'll become easy. But it's hard for you right now because you've got to learn new things. You don't want to learn new things. You don't want to put in the time to learn new things. And you're stubborn and difficult and old and crabby. And there you go. You get it? Okay, I get it. I didn't want to do these Facebook Lives. I've been talking about doing them for nearly 2 years. Okay? What the... What's that guy doing up there? I don't know if you guys can hear this or not. Sounds like he's literally just trying to break his motor on me. I've been talking about doing these Facebook Lives for nearly 2 years. And I did 1 or 2 of them over 2 years. Until I finally made the commitment to figure it out. Until I finally made the commitment to just get on there and start doing it. And I've actually had some comments. I was going to share that today and I forgot to bring it with me. The very first one of these I did 10 episodes ago. I had this gigantic board with like 20 different... index cards on it so I could kind of put it in front of me. I did it in a boardroom and I went from card to card to keep me on track and to keep me focused. Well, what I learned after I started doing this was it kind of made it, you know, and I've had comments from people like, wow, you're so much more comfortable now. The sessions are so much better now because now I'm just winging it. Not you're winging it, like I know what I'm going to come in to talk about, but I'm just talking with emotion. I'm just being interactive. I'm not following a script. But it wasn't until I started doing it and look at all the things I've learned along the way. I've learned that if I turn the camera this way, sideways, it's way better than if I have it horizontal. And I learned that I got to have Do Not Disturb on. And I've learned that a headset versus a no headset doesn't seem to make very much of a difference. And the list goes on and on, all the different things I've learned. We've got to start learning, you've got to start learning all of those different things in your business. You've got to start learning all of those different things in your world. All right, so anybody else, this is your opportunity to ask anybody else, if you were sitting in a mastermind with a group of top producers around a table with me, what would you want to talk about? What would be the topic of conversation that you would want to hear the most about? What would be like the, man, that was worth its weight in gold conversation? I've been wanting to ask that. I've been wanting to get exposure to that. I'm so glad that they were able to explain it to me. Ask right now, guys and gals. This is your chance. If you're on Facebook Live just to watch this thing and not interact, you might as well get off. This is pure interaction. This is for you to type questions, ask questions, be interactive. That's what this is about. So here's your opportunity. Ask a question. There are other people who were at the mastermind that can chime in too when you ask a question and maybe answer them. Ask a question and get involved. Ask a question and learn. Be interactive. Okay? So I've now determined that I decided to do this at the exact same moment that a guy decided to break out a chainsaw to cut down a piece of a tree. So that's why it just keeps on going. So there's nothing I can do about that. So Pablo, the good news is, since there's nothing I can do about it, I'm going to go back to my chair. So I'll stop moving in about 10 seconds. Until then, I'm just going to do this for you. That was just for Pablo. All right, I'm back in my chair. I won't be moving very much now. All right, so any questions coming through? You mentioned a name for phone numbers, Geo something. Okay, so it's RedX. It's called Geo Leads. RedX has a thing called Geo Leads. All the things that we talked about, well, not all of them because I'm still getting them up. I kind of ran out of time today. I have put on my website. So if you go to my website, it says Dan's a fan. Ooh, budget-wise, what would you say? I'll come back to that, Walter. I just want to make sure I don't miss this. What would you say would be a starting number to implement a lead gen system? Okay, so you go to my website, it says Dan's a fan. Over on the left-hand side, it's one of the tabs. And I put a couple companies in there that I thought were really good that we talked about. If you use those links, they give you some discounts too because we got a little bit of buying power with the group. All right, so lots of stuff. What's the most important to implement first, according to Lucas? And then Elmer said, what's a budget? You know, a budget's difficult. In the beginning, a budget is very limited. But you should probably, and this is a struggle that people have always had, you have to live on less than you earn. And you have to live on less than you earn so you can keep some of that money for savings. You can also keep some of that money to reinvest back into your business. That's a whole other episode probably. I would say that 35% of your income being reinvested back into your business would be healthy. Okay, so to answer that question. Now, where do you start with first? And then, John, I'll get some changes that you should be prepared for next. Where should we start first? Lead gen. Lead gen, because if you guys pay attention to what we talked about last week on this live session, and what I've been talking about for quite a while now, is the quadrants. And it goes lead gen, lead conversion, differentiation, and value. You start with lead gen. Until you have leads being generated, you can't do any of those other things. So I think you would start with lead generation. GeoLeads is a RedX company. Walt, good numbers. Not as user-friendly as he would like it to be, but yeah, they do have the numbers are sick. I don't know how they do it. And then what changes are coming that we should be prepared for? Was your question. Man, sorry if it's distracting to you guys. It's just got to roll with the punches. That's what happens when you're doing live shows, everybody. It just happens, right? So you got to roll with it. Got a guy over here who decided to cut a tree down next to me. All right, so what kind of changes are coming that you should be prepared for? I think you're going to see a lot more discount brokerages coming. I've been talking a little bit about this. You either got to be real high end or real low end, because if you're in the middle, you're in trouble. If you're high end and you're offering high end service, concierge service, and all the bells and whistles, you're still going to be able to get top dollar commissions. Or just give up on all those things and become a discount agent, because being in the middle and just kind of doing the norm isn't going to get you your 5% like it used to anymore. So that's one of the changes that are coming. The app, the technology, agents being available instantly. You know how it is with a lot of internet leads. If you don't pick them up and call them back within 2 minutes to 3 minutes, they've already called another agent, maybe even two. You got to pick up that call when they come through. And so that's how it has been. It's becoming more and more prevalent. So that's a change that's going to be coming down the pipe. We didn't really talk a lot about this one specifically, but it needs to be like mentioned. Geez, what happens when Amazon gets into the market? How's that going to change things? In California, Redfin just changed their listing price from 1.5% down to 1%. How's a 1% listing going to change the market now? How many people are going to go with them because they're doing a 1% listing? What else? I mean, we talked about the app. We talked about, what about Opendoor? Opendoor. Great story on Inman yesterday, by the way, about Opendoor, and how they're launching in 3 more states now, and how they could be a little bit of an issue, right? Eventually, we'll get those houses back because they'll fix them up and then resell them. But now he's literally coming closer to me. Jerk off. Opendoor. If you guys and gals don't know what Opendoor is, you need to go read about Opendoor. And you need to know what they're doing, and how they're buying properties, and how they're fixing them, and how they're turning them, and what that 6% and sometimes 7% service charge they're charging to do so is. And we're talking, like, they did over $1 billion in business last year, I believe. $1 billion. So think about that. You know, especially in some of the states they were in, $1 billion is like the state. I mean, like the houses are like 5 digits sometimes, right? So you need to pay attention to that. So a lot of disruption going on out there. You need to be paying attention to. We also did pay attention to paying attention. That was one of our topics of conversation. We need to all pay attention more. We rely too much on just what's going on in our office meetings or what our managers or our brokers might bring up. You guys need to have a source of information. For me, it's Inman. You know, I believe Inman is like the Wall Street Journal for stockbrokers in regards to real estate. But if it's not Inman, it's got to be something. Who are you reading? Who are you subscribing to? Who's providing you your information? You need to be getting information that's timely about our industry. And as an example, you haven't heard about Open Door. A lot of you might not have heard about Open Door. If you'd have been reading Inman, you would have heard about Open Door 18 months ago. It wouldn't be a surprise. It wouldn't be a shocker. You wouldn't be like, what's this thing? You would have heard about Zerpal. You would have heard about Smart Zip. You would have heard about Prime Seller Leads. You would have heard about all these things a long time ago. Not today. I'm not inventing these ideas, everybody. It's not like, whoa, Dan knows so much tech shit. It's amazing. I'm not inventing any of these ideas. You need to have a source that provides them for you. And there's a lot of sources out there. Just like there's a lot of Wall Street journals. There's the Investors Business Daily. There's Barron's. There's Bloomberg. There's more things in Inman. Personally, I can't tell you what they are because I don't know, but I'm sure there's more things than Inman. But you got to be getting your information from someplace. I choose to get it from Inman, right? I'm a contributing writer to Inman. Of course, I'm going to get it from Inman. That only makes sense. But no matter where you're getting it from, you've got to have real, timely real estate news in front of you. That's something that we talked about too. Too many people in the room were caught off guard and hadn't heard about so many things because they were really just hoping their broker manager or it came up in their sales meeting because like an NHD rep or a title rep brought you some information. Are you kidding me? If you're waiting for an NHD or a title rep or somebody like that to be your source of information when they get to talk to you for 27 seconds in a sales meeting, then you're in trouble, right? That is not cutting edge, everybody. That is not being in the know. So that's something we talked about as well. All right, so it looks like the questions have run out. Everybody, thank you very much for being on here. Next week, we will continue. Actually, next week will be the 18th. Yes, next week we will continue. We'll be back here on Wednesday again. There will be a Wednesday or two coming up as the holidays get closer that we won't, but I'll let you know ahead of time. Have a great day. But before you get off, if you haven't hit that little share button down there, if you would do so, please, I would appreciate it. If you'd like any information on me, you can find me on all my social media websites, by Dan Smith, BYDANSMITH, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, you name it, you got it. My website, www.bydansmith.com. And don't forget, if you'd like to get involved in our Jumpstart Real Estate Retreat, 2 days in January, gonna be amazing. Amazing! All right, then you can get there by going to By Dan Smith as well. Very first thing on there is get involved in the Jumpstart, see all the speakers, see what they're talking about, all that good stuff. Everybody, thank you very much for participating. Have a fantastic day, a fantastic week. I am out of here for today. I'm going to Niagara Falls this weekend, actually, so I'm going to have a great time there. If anybody's been to Niagara Falls and have any hot tips for me, please reach out to me via email and let me know there's something I shouldn't miss. I would appreciate that. I fly out today. I'm there for 4 or 5 days, so I want to make sure I don't miss anything from all you experts who have been there. Oh, I love it. I'm done, and the guy turns his damn chainsaw off now. Have a good one, everybody. Talk to you later.